everybody. Welcome to the Art of Zenning, Chapter 9.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad we're here to talk to you again. It's been a while since we made a video on YouTube, but I've been reading a book. It's called Einstein's God, which is, in essence, a discussion of science and spirituality and how the two really merge, or how the two answers questions which cannot be answered by the other. So no, I just want to read this paragraph and I
Sure.
want you to comment on it. So this is a letter that Charles Darwin wrote to a Harvard botanist, Asa Gray, in 1860. What he says is, I see a bird which I want for food. Take my gun and kill it. I do this designedly. An innocent and good man stands under a tree and is killed by a flash of lightning. Do you believe that God designedly killed this man? Many or most persons do believe. I can't and I don't. If you believe so, do you believe that when a swallow snaps up a gnat, that God designed that that particular swallow should snap up that particular gnat at that particular instant? I believe that the man and gnat are in the same predicament. Yet I can't persuade myself that electricity acts, that the tree grows, that the man aspires to the loftiest conceptions, all from blonde brute force.
Mm. Wow. So, yeah, I think those are quite powerful examples that certainly make us ponder, think, no different than any other, I guess, existential question or spirituality question or things that, you know, we always ponder if we let our mind our mind run in whichever direction it desires to run in. um, you want my personal opinion on those? I guess, and it's not even a personal opinion because opinions change. But I really think that the universal design, the divine law, the if we think that something is happening because it's random and there is no universal design, I personally think even that assessment is part of that design. And if we think that something is happening because it is destined to or pre-planned or according to a grand design, that is of course part of the grand design. So at the end of the day, it's what we resonate with based on our life experiences, and I know that most of the spiritual paths or journeys, even religions, they do talk about um, everything is internal in terms of the understanding, the resonance, the way to explain things, the things that or the rationale that brings us peace. If somebody likes to eat only vegetarian food because they believe that animals are not designed to be consumed by humans, that thinking is part of the grand design in my view. Others who enjoy the non-vegetarian food as well is also part of the same grand design. That's what I think.
Yeah, like I feel that even when like, so there are two theories, right? One theory says that everything that happens is destined to happen and it is the design of the universe or source or whatever, and the other theory that says that we have a free will, we create our own destiny, we manifest what we think, we manifest like how we feel and what we believe we can achieve or can't. But I have noticed, whether it is one or the other, there is a synchronicity, a design, so to speak, in everything, right? Like some things, yes, you do control, but some things just happen to you, and then how you react to it. For example, like there was this like election coverage that I was watching yesterday, and I was like kind of like feeling that angst and anxiousness
Anxiety,
of
just like
whatever.
everybody generally was, yeah.
Yeah, and I went outside because I had to pick up my son from the SkyTrain station, and I noticed two big maple leaves stuck to my car. And it was so beautiful because I thought those were reminders that I live in Canada and I'm so lucky that even though that part of the problem in that part of the world is happening, I still can rejoice in the fact that I am safe and I'm happy and I chose to live here, and how beautiful it had turned out for me. So I felt that it was that synchronicity that was showing me that didn't need to be anxious because I was okay and everybody else would be okay, and no matter what happens. So that's what I'm talking about, that even in that accident there is some sort of a design.
Yeah, and I think and you mentioned the word synchronicity, which is very powerful. One common theme, even in the example of feeling some anxieties due to the U.S. election, or the other way, feeling blissful when you saw the leaves on your car because it's part of giving peace. No matter how we feel, it is always from the inside. It's almost literally independent of whatever is happening outside. So there's outside a US election, there's some wars happening somewhere else, or you're finding a peaceful, blissful place amongst maple leaves and relishing yourself. All of those external occurrences, whether they're happening as part of a mega design, it's like the movie Matrix.
Yeah.
Whether something is happening as part of a pre-written script, or the certain rules have been put in place by the divine law, and now you go play within those rules. Everything is random, right? Whether it's A or B, how we feel or how we respond to those events, random or planned, is always something that if we endeavor to be in control of, we can almost create that. And that's what probably the meaning of manifestation is you create how you feel, because now you're focusing inwards as opposed to letting the outside events kind of take you away like a leaf on the waves.
But isn't it still all about letting go, right? Like what I feel like is we're all watching everything from the lenses that we have created through our past experiences, right? Nothing is just like unbiased, like coming. We really don't look at reality like it is. We look at it like how we perceive it, like through our own lenses. And uh, basically all our work is to get rid of those lenses and see the facts for what they are, like see because two things which are diametrically opposite can be true at the same time.
Yeah, because it's the perspective, right?
Right,
You could be
yeah.
looking at something, one side of the coin, or you could be completely looking at the other side of the coin and having a different interpretation of the same coin,
Yeah.
right? So you're right, absolutely. And that's why I think personally it's almost a moot point. It is almost a question that we do not need to bother or research about, that whether there is a mega design or not. Because either way, we are here to deal with the design.
Yeah, exactly. Like we need to, what our goal is to what we're going to do, whether it's design or accident, what we are going to do with it, what we are
Yeah.
going to do with what is reality for us, and how do
Absolutely.
we like mold and reshape it so we can, feel more grounded and
Right, and
centered and have.
if you cannot mold or reshape the reality, then you can certainly focus on your own grounding, no matter what kind of reality is happening outside, right?
Right, right,
Which is
right.
why meditation and so many tools that Sandy has shared in her previous videos are so powerful. So I think we should.
And one thing I've also realized is that to think that we're not going to suffer is sort of like thinking we're not going to eat. It's going to happen, right? You are going to suffer. There is going to be some pain that, overpowers you and comes in your life. But that suffering has a very beautiful purpose. It's just that we have been so conditioned to have these sort of reactions to the suffering that I'm not supposed to have that. I expect my life to be certain way, and it went the other way. So now I need to either get rid of that suffering, or I'm embarrassed that I'm suffering, or like you are just trying to get rid of that suffering, but you have to look it in the face and accept it and go through it, and that's the only option, right? Whether
Yeah,
it's design or accident.
as that saying goes, the only place where there is 100% no suffering, no pain, nothing is in the grave. So as long as
Yeah.
we're alive, we have to absolutely go through them, because those are the ones that are shaping us and making us learn so much, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why, like, I heard of this beautiful concept that about our minds, right? Thoughts going into our mind and how we identify with them. Like, our thoughts are of two kind. It's the inflictor, which is saying you're ugly, and it is the victim who's saying, either saying no I'm not, or yes I am, and feeling sad about it. And who are you? Are you the inflictor or the victim? Who are you?
You're neither, right?
Yeah,
The
you're
one.
neither, right? You're neither of those. You are the observer of whatever the voices are happening in your mind. So, identifying with the mind is the basic problem. Like, if we can somehow detach from it and we can look at all the voices that are happening in a mind, but not, just be saddened and depressed by what they're saying, then we can move on and we can realize, okay, these, you can actually be gentle to those voices and say you're
Absolutely.
okay, you're
'Cause
okay, I'm in control.
right. The most powerful realizations, especially in the heat of the moments, is to acknowledge and recognize that you're not the inflictor or the victim. Right? Because once you're able to see them as separate things or objects, you can at least park them.
Yes, yes, yeah.
That's
And
great.
I think that's what is important to realize, that we look at ourselves as the observer of our life, and then life is going to be fun and joyful, because when you become a participant, you're too involved. Then it's hard to create that separation, and then suffering takes over. But when you can create that separation, then you can stay in control and you don't suffer, not as much. But it's a
Absolutely.
process, right? It's
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's very akin to, like, if I find out something about a very close friend of mine that he or she is suffering, then I feel compassionate. I intend to help, as opposed to get drowned in the suffering, because it's my friend as opposed to me. But when we try to do what Sandy's is kind of indicating to us, is that we, within ourselves, we separate us from, like, I am not this person that I am identifying with, not the inflictor or the victim, neither of those. Then it's very akin to me watching or observing those two kind of pseudo entities, just like watching or observing a friend who I can then help through meditation, through support, through compassion.
yes, yeah. And that's what, and again, I want to emphasize that it all starts with the body, right? Like Patanjali Yoga says, you start with your body, you pay attention to it,
The
you
breath,
see
yeah.
how you feel, and then you focus on your breath. And once you have mastered the body, it becomes easier to go inside and watch your mind, because, right away, if you try to watch your mind, um,
Yeah, good. And
it's,
when we say mind, we're talking about the whole body mind combination anyway.
yes, yes, yeah. And it's it's just a few inches of distance that we have to travel. Every time our mind takes over, just travel to your heart, and it helps, right? Like, focus on your heart, because your heart um, is more sane, more, less logical and more sane, is what I would say.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we're going to leave you guys on that wonderful note. Hopefully, this has been helpful, and we've enjoyed just chit chatting from our hearts after a while. So look forward to connecting again.
And thank you to everyone who has reached out. And if you want to meditate with us, or if you want us to guide you a certain difficult process in your life, reach out. We're always here for you. Love to you all.
Love to you all. Take care.